Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
I really wish peace to his family, to their hearts, because their son is with God now.
An emotional day in the murder trial for Tazir Zarqa as the store owner learns his sentence. We are in the courtroom as he wishes peace to the victim's family.
Civil rights leader William Barber is suing a national movie theater chain over a confrontation he had. What we're learning about that lawsuit, we're bringing that to you here during the noon show.
And a cold front moved in. Now we're looking at colder air moving through and then a chance of some showers tomorrow. We'll go over the details.
A lot of different stories that we're covering here on WRAL News. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Chris Levingood in for Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. A Raleigh convenience store owner learns how long he will spend in prison. Just moments ago, a Wake County judge sentenced him to 5 to 7 years in prison.
And it was a packed courtroom. After a 9-day trial, Zarqa was convicted Thursday of voluntary manslaughter. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan has been covering this case from the start. Chelsea, what did Zarqa say to try to sway the judge in this?
Yeah, obviously you heard that apology to the Garrity family. He also said, though, some interesting things that didn't sit well with them. He said that life happens and asked the family to go on. He said he hoped that they would understand this was just a chance meeting. And he also said something else that really stung, and that Mark Garrity would have not been killed had he not just put down that bag. But let's get you to the more important part of this, which is the sentencing that just happened moments ago by Superior Court Judge Keith Gregory, sentencing Zarqa to the maximum part of the scale when it comes to voluntary manslaughter, but not aggravated, and that is 5 to 7 years in prison. He also ordered that he receive anger management while in prison, or if they don't have it, at least get it while it's out, and also 100 hours of community service post-release. One of the things that his attorney, Carl Knutson, asked for is that he have medical treatment while in prison, as they say he is now suffering from bladder as well as prostate cancer. Let's get you some video we shot earlier today. You can see Tazir Zarqa no longer wearing a suit, coming out in an orange and white jumpsuit, often with his head hung low, as the Garrity family spoke of their pain and their memories of Mark Garrity, their son, who was stabbed to death at age 27 in Taz's store after he thought he was stealing a Gatorade. As you'll recall, Zarqa was convicted after 6 hours of jury deliberations of voluntary manslaughter. A jury could not find if that crime was aggravated, and that part of the trial ended in a mistrial. Now, prior to sentencing, the Garrity family fought back tears, remembering Mark and pleading with Judge Gregory to give Zarqa the max sentence. And also, close to a dozen people spoke in support of Zarqa as well. Take a listen to both sides.
The defendant has no respect for human life, and he thought nothing of my son's life, never offered an apology, showed zero remorse, while my son was lying in the street, suffering and bleeding to death. He could care less, clearly, as he mopped his floor.
Taz has a great reputation in the community. He is the man with an integrity. He's a generous man. He's always has a smile on his face.
And just behind me, you can see some of the Zarqa some of the Garrity supporters coming out. They're all wearing these shirts that say "Justice for Mark." Also, a lot of folks that are wearing buttons. A large turnout from the Garrity family, as you can see, that they're filing out now. Many people spoke on Mark's behalf. Interesting to note that Judge Gregory really poured his heart and soul out on the bench, saying that, he is a father first, a judge second. He will get a chance again to speak to his own son, and recognizes that the Garrity family will not. He also said that he noted that Mark Garrity was suffering from an addiction, but it was not an addiction that killed Mark Garrity, but rather Zarqa at the hands of a knife. We're live in Raleigh. Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
Civil rights leader William Barber is suing a national movie theater chain over a confrontation he had in December of last year in Greenville. That was when police escorted Barber out of an AMC theater after he was not allowed to use his own chair to watch a movie with his 90-year-old mother. Barber cannot sit in a regular chair due to pain in his hips. An assistant carries a special chair so he can sit everywhere he goes. Barber said he tried to use that special chair in the handicapped section of the theater, and he was told by staff he couldn't do that. Greenville police were called to the theater, and Barber was escorted out of the building. Barber and his attorney announced their lawsuit this morning in Raleigh.
And then it got worse when the young man who was with me, he had happened to put his camera phone up, and he had a camera video of the manager as we were pulling off taunting us by waving. As if to say, good riddance. You're gone. I won. No, it ain't no different.
AMC Theaters apologized to Barber about the incident last year. The lawsuit is seeking $100,000. We've reached out to AMC for comment about today's announcement. We're waiting to hear back.
AAA projects more than 107 million people will drive to their holiday destinations. Fortunately for us in the Triangle, it will be cheaper to make those road trips than in other parts of the country. In Raleigh, the average cost of gas today is $2.88. Meanwhile, nationwide, it is $3.05 per gallon. Clouds are hanging around today, and another front will bring more clouds and a few showers tomorrow as well. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at just how much rain we could see, Elizabeth.
It's going to be very light for us tomorrow, but it still could have some minor impacts on your day. We'll start off taking a look at Wilson, and you can see the whirligigs really spinning. We've had some winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. A little bit of sunshine here, but definitely some cloud cover across the area. We'll continue to see that overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow. You can see first thing tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., just a little bit of light patchy rain. There's not going to be a whole lot of it. You can see there at 9 a.m., just a few sprinkles up near the Virginia line. We get a little break around lunchtime tomorrow, and you can see some sunshine that pops out. But then the cold front comes through with a disturbance, and you can see at 5 o'clock, again, a few isolated showers. That lasts potentially through 8 or 9 o'clock, and then we begin to clear out. And after that, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all look nice and dry. But that's when we see the big drop in our temperatures. We're going to talk more about that Arctic outbreak. Again, Friday, tomorrow, we'll have a 30% chance of showers, and then things are dry. We'll take a close look at your Christmas travel forecast coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. New at noon, we have an update on the case involving the teenager charged in the Raleigh mass shooting from 2022. A case status hearing was held this morning for Austin Thompson in Wake County Superior Court. The trial date previously set still stands, and that's September 22nd of next year. A hearing involving the judge and attorneys will be held January 21st. Thompson is accused of killing 5 people and seriously injuring 2 others in the Hedingham neighborhood in October 2022.
We're expecting an update today on the case involving the teenager accused of stabbing his classmate in Raleigh. That happened at Southeast Raleigh High School. A case status hearing is scheduled today for Taekwon General and Wake County Superior Court. Police say he killed his 15-year-old classmate, Devin Farrell, during a fight at school in November. He was just 14 years old at the time. A judge decided General will be tried as an adult on murder and assault charges.
Tonight, parents in Durham can expect an update on the bus driver shortage that is forcing them to find rides for their children to and from school once a week. The Durham Public School Board plans to go over solutions at their meeting tonight. The Durham Association of Educators will host a news conference ahead of that meeting. We will fill you in on the update shared at tonight's meeting in Durham. Tune in to our newscast from 4 to 7:30 this evening for new information about the bus driver shortage.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, a Georgia Court of Appeals has disqualified Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from prosecuting a case she brought against President-elect Trump over his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The court sided with several of Trump's co-defendants who accused Willis of having a conflict of interest. They tried to get Willis disqualified because of a romantic relationship she had with a special prosecutor on the case, Nathan Wade. Now, this decision is likely to cripple the case and bring a halt to efforts to try Trump. But the racketeering charges against him, they were not dismissed. That means a new special prosecutor will have to be appointed. The state criminal case also against Trump was already on hold. Willis's office can appeal this ruling.
The man accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare waived extradition. Luigi Mangione will be taken to New York to face charges there. Mangione's extradition hearing was this morning in Pennsylvania. He has been indicted on numerous charges in New York for the shooting death of Brian Thompson. That includes first-degree murder and murder in the second degree as a crime of terrorism.
The Dow is looking to break its 10-day losing streak, and right now it is on track to do so. The Dow in the green, up almost 200 points. S&P 500 advancing 30 points at this hour, and NASDAQ, also a triple-digit rally, up 122 points. A potential holiday hiccup for millions who shop with online giant Amazon. Thousands of Amazon workers are on strike. The strike by the Teamsters Union will affect warehouses in major cities, including New York, L.A., Chicago, and Atlanta. The Teamsters represent about 7,000 Amazon workers. That's less than 1% of the company's U.S. workforce. Amazon says its operations will not be affected by the strike.
You're looking live now at the U.S. Capitol. That is where a government shutdown is now looming. A spending bill that would have kept the government funded into March is dead. Now, a shutdown will begin at 12:01 a.m. Saturday unless a new deal is reached. President-elect Donald Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance criticized the proposed bill in a joint statement. They slammed the budget resolution. They say Republicans need to, quote, get smart and tough, and the bill gives Democrats too much. They called for a debt ceiling increase, but that's something neither party has been considering. In a statement, the White House said Republicans are playing politics over the funding issue.
Packing the wrong thing could delay your travel. The reminder from TSA on what you can and can't bring aboard a plane.
Plus, the outcome of a mass rape case in France involving 51 men, including the survivor's ex-husband. A look at the sentences here at noon.
And crafty crypto criminals. We have a live interview just minutes away about how to guard crypto assets.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Dozens of men were found guilty in a mass rape trial out of France. And we do want to let you know the details of this case. They are graphic and they are horrific. A French court found Dominique Pellicot guilty of repeatedly drugging and raping his wife Giselle for almost a decade. Prosecutors say he also invited dozens of strangers to rape his wife's unconscious body in their home and then filmed this. The case made international headlines. Pellicot was sentenced to 20 years in prison, and another 46 men were found guilty in this case and sentenced anywhere from 3 to 8 years.
Millions of people are expected to fly this holiday season. TSA is letting people know what they can and can't bring on board. CB Cotton explains how to plan ahead.
The holiday travel rush is on, and this year could be one for the record books. AAA says more than 119 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles during the next 2 weeks, up 3 million from last year.
Plan ahead and be patient. Give yourself all the time you need to easily navigate the holiday hustle.
Despite an increase in airfare, nearly 8 million of those travelers will be flying. As usual, with big crowds expected, airlines advise getting to the airport at least 2 hours early.
Be ready for large crowds and extended wait times at both the airports and on the roads.
TSA expects its busiest days will be the Friday before Christmas and also several days after the holiday. And people can play an important role in making sure those long lines at security don't get bogged down.
While you're in that line, begin to think about removing things from your pockets, placing those items in your carry-on bag so that it's all conveniently located in one spot.
If you're planning on traveling with food, TSA says to leave liquids in checked baggage and only store solid foods in your carry-on. As for presents, folks are asked to leave those unwrapped.
If that gift alarms, we will have to open it. And then we will be like the Grinch and ruin that Christmas wrapping. So we encourage you, use a nice gift box or a gift bag.
And that was CB Cotton reporting. TSA is also urging people to prepare for next year's travel now by getting what's called the WRAL ID, which will be needed to board flights starting in May. So we want to know, what is your #1 tip for getting through airport security? A, arrive extra early. B, keep my carry-on organized. C, avoid packing liquids. Or D, get TSA pre-check. You can share your voice right now by scanning the QR code right there on your screen, or head to WRAL.com/yourvoice, and we will share the results before the end of this newscast.
I'm just saying that pre-check, pretty clutch. That's all I'm saying. All right, fewer donations to local nonprofits make it harder to support families across the Triangle. The Triangle Nonprofit and Volunteer Leadership Center lost a major sponsor in the last week, and that means 50 low-income families could be affected. It's a troubling trend many nonprofits are dealing with right now. And if you are interested in supporting, you can visit thevolunteercenter.org to learn more. Here's another way you can help our community. WRAL and the Salvation Army have teamed up once again to ensure local children have warm clothing this winter. The annual WRAL Coats for the Children telethon, it is tomorrow morning. Things kick off at 6 a.m. and continue throughout the day with a special at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. on WRAL. Something definitely to consider there. A lot of people out there just can't afford that coat, so it's something very necessary for them. Today, you may just need a light jacket out there as things are in, I believe, the lower 50s for the most part. We've got Elizabeth Gardner tracking that for you with a camera of Durham behind her.
It's nice and dark out there right now, isn't it? Boy, cloudy skies here. We're not seeing the clouds everywhere, but a lot of the viewing areas has been stuck in the clouds for a good bit of the day. 52 is our temperature. We're just going to hold it right here all the way up until around 6, 7 o'clock when we start to drop into the 40s. And tomorrow morning is going to be chilly, but nothing like what we'll see starting over the weekend as we see another blast of Arctic air come in. This is a look at our visible satellite, and you can see from Harnett County through Johnston County and along and east of I-95, a little bit more sunshine peeking through, but there's a good bit of cloud cover out there right now. Cloud cover forecast is going to be anywhere from around 65 to about 80% on and off through the remainder of the afternoon. So we would certainly call that mostly cloudy. And it's also a little breezy out there. We're seeing winds out of the north at about 10 to 15 miles per hour steady, and the steady number is in blue. And then the gusts are in white. We're only seeing winds gusting in Fayetteville right now, and they're gusting to around 20 miles per hour. And we'll likely see that on and off for the rest of the day. I love our Weather Watcher photo from Jenny Burnett from Wilson. Sent us this great photo of the whirligigs. We love looking at the whirligigs to kind of get a gauge of, how windy it looks over there in Wilson. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and you can upload a few photos to send to us. Our temperatures are still in the mid to upper 40s in our northern counties and may not get any warmer than that today. It's 53 in Fayetteville, 54 in Goldsboro, and we're in the low 50s here in the Triangle. Our temperatures at this point, of course, are anywhere from 10 to a good 15 degrees colder than they were this time yesterday. Yesterday, we were well on our way into the low 70s. Our cold front has moved through, and now our wind is coming out of the north, and that means cooler temperatures for us. 52 for the rest of the day in Raleigh and Durham, and 57 in Fayetteville, but mostly cloudy. We were talking about our Coach for the Children telethon, again, kicking off early tomorrow all day long. We'll share with you ways that you can help children stay warm in our area over the winter. For tomorrow, there may be just a few light showers. We talked about that at the beginning of the newscast. High temperature in the low 50s, which is pretty much what we saw today. Big temperature change. We've been on the milder side, and then here comes a big blast of Arctic air. We'll start to feel that Saturday, and it will last up until around Tuesday or Wednesday. Wednesday, we start to see temperatures warming up a little bit for Christmas Day. Our normal high is 54. We're going to drop it all the way to 40 on Sunday, looking at a high of only 42 on Monday, and we'll have a little bit of a wind chill to go with that. And coming up tomorrow, we'll really start to get into that wind chill. Our normal low is 34, and we're looking at 24 on Sunday morning, 21 on Monday morning, and 25 on Tuesday morning. So again, big Arctic blast headed our way. We do have the potential for a few isolated showers tomorrow. We're going to talk more about the rain that we'll see tomorrow and a look at the drought monitor. There has been a little bit of improvement. Saturday is the first day of winter, and that definitely kicks off that Arctic outbreak. But we'll also take a look at the travel weather for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday coming up.
Okay, Mother Nature going by the calendar with winter coming. Coming up on WRAL News at 4 p.m., an Apex homeowner caught video of a porch pirate in her neighborhood. What we're learning about the investigation and how many other incidents like this have been reported.
And tonight at 6, we expect to learn more about how Durham County Public Schools hopes to address an ongoing bus driver shortage that has frustrated many families. The Supreme Court agrees to the challenge to the TikTok ban. What you need to know about that case, that's next.
With Bitcoin's value on the rise, scammers are getting creative. ways to protect your crypto investments. That's next.
5 on your side is monitoring today's business headlines. The TikTok ban is going to the Supreme Court. The court will hear arguments on the legality of a new law that would effectively ban the app in the United States. Justices will take up this matter on January 10th, and that's actually just 9 days before the law is set to take effect. The law requires TikTok's China-based parent company to sell its U.S. business by January 19th. Now, if it doesn't sell, well, then the mobile app stores would be prohibited from letting users download TikTok, and internet hosting services would not be allowed to support that app.
With Bitcoin's value skyrocketing, scammers are seizing the moment to target investors and everyday consumers alike. Bezalel Ethan Raviv, the CEO of Lionsgate Network, is here now to explain how to protect your crypto assets. Welcome, Mr. Raviv. And for our viewers who may not know, Lionsgate Network is a company that helps individuals and law enforcement combat digital theft. So this is your expertise that you're sharing here. First, we've been hearing a lot about Bitcoin's remarkable surge. Reuters reports more than 50% since the election. Along with that, there's also a spike in crypto scams. So explain how cyber criminals are capitalizing on Bitcoin's surge.
Thank you, Renee. So first of all, with the rise of Bitcoin, scammers are basically targeting investors like sharks to blood. Lionsgate Network vision is to cut the bleeding in order for us to allow, first of all, investors to be aware that whatever they're being presented with on social media, specifically with Meta platform, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, is to be hyper alert this season. This is something that is targeting right now. We're looking at 1 out of 5 crypto investors that are being targeted through common known social media platforms.
So what are some of those common tactics, red flags that people can say, all right, I know this is not legit?
What we see right now that is really like off the roof is embezzlers, scammers that are part of organized crime that are pretending to be from Coinbase, which is an American registered company that offers people to exchange dollars for crypto. And basically they ask them to send them the seed phrase as a special checks and how to stay vigilant, where the opposite is the accurate. They're basically cleaning their wallets completely. Only after the fact, victims realize that they actually did not converse or interacted with anyone from Coinbase.
So, Mr. Raviv, what are some ways that people can protect their crypto assets if they have them, or just not get involved in any of these scams?
Well, the best way is education, right? We say that the tuition to not knowing is to give scammers your money. So the best way to protect your assets is to educate yourself about crypto, because it's very different from how we dealt with banks in the past 100 years. This is a new era, and Bitcoin is the digital gold of this era. So we really need to emphasize that there are different rules to the game, and the better we know, the better we are able to say no to scammers and intercept them before it's too late. So education is key. On our website, there is a very rich blog section that educates people on prevention and allows people to realize who they're dealing with before it's too late.
Yeah, when it comes to investing, certainly do your research. Take some time to do that homework, for sure. Mr. Raviv, we appreciate your time and insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next at noon, we're monitoring the bus driver shortage situation in Durham that has parents fed up. How district leaders plan to tackle that issue tonight.
It's the end of an era. What Governor Cooper says about keeping a promise he made during his first campaign for governor.
And just in case you missed them, here are your winning NC Education Lottery numbers.
Happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we have just learned that Luigi Mangione faces 4 federal counts in connection to the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. We have some live video we want to show you right now. He landed in New York from Pennsylvania this morning. He formally waived his extradition to New York during a court appearance. He landed in New York by plane, and here he is on a helicopter, an NYPD helicopter right now. But a federal criminal complaint was unsealed today. He has been charged with the murder through use of a firearm, 2 stalking charges, and a firearms offense. Federal prosecutors say they have jurisdiction in the case because of Mangione's travel and interstate commerce. He took a bus from Atlanta to New York prior to the killing. He also used interstate facilities by using a cell phone and the internet to plan and carry out the stalking, shooting, and killing of Brian Thompson. Again, he faces 4 federal counts. We'll stay on top of this and bring you the latest from the Live Center.
There was a lot of questions about the jurisdiction with that, so now we have some more clarity. Parents in Durham are frustrated over the shortage of school bus drivers.
Tonight, district leaders will give them an update on how they're working to address it. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains families are facing hardships as there are not enough drivers to fill routes.
So many buses sit here inside the school district's depot all day because of this shortage. Durham Public Schools has had trouble finding people to get behind the wheel for years. Tonight, parents may hear about new solutions to this ongoing problem. Right now, DPS buses run on a staggered schedule because of this shortage. The district says that modified schedule will be in place through mid-January. In the meantime, they're asking parents to drive their kids to school at least once a week. We caught up with the vice chair of the Durham County Commission Board, Mike Lee. He got a commercial driver's license to become a fill-in bus driver in light of the shortage. He says DPS is considering every option to fix the problem.
They're looking at with the city bus line. They're working with Go Triangle and Go Durham to see how we can maybe reduce some of the ridership of yellow buses into city buses with the older students, and that'll free up some on the other side.
The Durham Association of Educators is also expressing their concerns about this issue. They plan to hold a news conference tonight ahead of the school board's meeting. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Durham.
Meanwhile, Wake County Schools has 606 school bus drivers as of November. That's actually up from the 578 back in August. We'll fill you in on the update shared during tonight's meeting in Durham. You can tune into our newscasts from 4 to 7:30 this evening for new information about the bus driver shortage.
Today, the Durham Housing Authority is under the direction of an interim CEO. The Board of Commissioners and CEO Anthony Scott announced they are mutually parting ways. Scott led the Durham Housing Authority for more than 8 years. In a statement last night, the authority's Board of Commissioners thanked Scott for his dedication and leadership. It said Scott led the authority to success in preservation and development of affordable housing. WRAL has reached out to Scott and is waiting to hear back. Anthony Snell will serve as interim CEO as the search for a replacement moves forward.
Our county-by-county coverage takes us to Wilson and Wake counties today. First, leaders in Wake County will talk about proposed changes to some water regulations. Specifically, the Health and Human Services Board will give some updates about the process of approving well construction. According to county leadership, roughly 40,000 households, or nearly 10% of residents in Wake County, use private well water.
In Wilson County, a new memorial honors 12 NCDOT employees who died while serving the region since 1975. The memorial includes plaques for each of the employees, as well as 2 benches and a flagpole. You can find the new installation at the 4th Division office over on Ward Boulevard in Wilson.
And Cary students at Panther Creek High School staged a walkout in response to inaction over climate change. The planned demonstration began at 10:30 this morning, and organizers say it's because their school board refused to support the Green New Deal for schools. Students say the deal creates a healthier and more sustainable learning environment in the future.
A Georgia Court of Appeals has disqualified Fulton County DA Fani Willis from prosecuting the case against President-elect Trump. It also disqualifies the DA from prosecuting his alleged co-conspirators in the 2020 election interference case. The court found an appearance of impropriety was enough to taint the case in the public eye. The racketeering charges against Trump were not dismissed, meaning a new special prosecutor would have to be appointed. The state criminal case against Trump was already on hold, and the long-awaited decision hurts the ability of the case to move forward in court.
4 people remain hospitalized after a school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin, and 2 of those people at last check are in critical condition. Investigators say 42-year-old teacher Aaron West and 14-year-old student Ruby Vergara died in this attack. The shooter was identified as 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow. She died after shooting herself, according to deputies. Investigators say that Rupnow had been in contact with a 20-year-old man in California named Alexander Paffendorf. Authorities say Paffendorf was plotting a mass shooting with Rupnow. He's accused of telling her he was planning to attack a government building. The FBI detained him and ordered to have his guns temporarily seized.
Durham police are looking for the person who shot and killed a 17-year-old boy in a South Durham neighborhood. Officers say it happened around 11 Tuesday night off South Roxborough Street. Detectives and forensics spent nearly 12 hours at that scene. No arrests have been made.
Governor Roy Cooper delivered his farewell address yesterday at Nash Community College. This is the same place he announced his first run for governor in 2015 and the county where he was born. He said over the last 8 years, he has delivered on the pledge he made during his first campaign for governor.
I wanted to build a North Carolina where people are better educated and healthier with more money in their pockets and the opportunity to live a life of purpose and abundance.
Governor Cooper pointed to Medicaid expansion, teacher raises, and growing the clean energy economy as his biggest accomplishments of his administration. His successor, Josh Stein, will be inaugurated on January 11th.
Plotting out Poe Hall, Keely Arthur joins us next to explain how she and her team reviewed and mapped out the toxic chemical testing results in the now closed NC State building and why that's significant.
Aiming for moderation, the best ways to avoid overindulging at holiday get-togethers. And our team is working to bring you exclusive stories. For coverage you will find only on WRAL, visit WRAL.com and search the word only. Raleigh families can get a haircut for free this weekend. Grooming Resources and Opportunities is holding a free Cuts for Christmas event on Saturday. There will also be free food, health screenings, and toys for children. Last year, the organization was able to give 300 free haircuts. Saturday's event is from 8 to 3, and that is at the Barbershop Raleigh on New Bern Avenue. You'll need to pay a little bit more if you still need to ship those packages for Christmas. The deadline has passed for packages to arrive in time for Christmas if you are using Postal Service First Class Mail or Ground Advantage. Today is the last day you can ship by Priority Mail for delivery in time for Christmas. You can use Priority Express shipping through Saturday, just so you know.
Many of us know it can be easy to overindulge at holiday parties. But as Dr. Deborah Plate with Cleveland Clinic explains, it is best to keep moderation in mind. Dr. Plate says the condition is known as holiday heart syndrome, and it can be caused by too much alcohol and salty foods. And those with existing heart issues are considered most at risk. But anybody can be diagnosed with it.
Things to think about or look for are chest discomfort. I don't always say chest pain because oftentimes it's pressure or discomfort. And so anything that's different than normal is important. Heartburn that does not improve with something over the counter in the way of an antacid needs to be investigated. Shortness of breath that's different than usual. I often talk to my patients about walking across a flat surface and are you short of breath? We all get a little short of breath with stairs, but a flat surface shortness of breath concerns me.
Holiday heart syndrome usually resolves on its own. Now, if symptoms persist, you should go to the emergency department.
We have asked you for your top airport security tips this holiday season, and we've got the results coming up. See how your advice stacks up against everyone else's. WRAL News is taking you inside Poe Hall. A building on NC State's campus closed because toxic chemicals were found inside. And for the past 6 months, Keely Arthur and the 5 on Your Side team reviewed more than 1,000 pages of testing results, and their goal was to plot out where and what was found in the shuttered building. Keely, you have been working so hard along with other team members on this. So proud of you for staying on this. Explain a little bit about what you found.
So we've been doing this because there are a lot of people who were in the building and they want to know what was in the building. And NC State has been working to figure that out for the past year. The building closed in November of 2023 due to toxic chemical contamination, PCBs in particular. And what we did is we compiled all of the testing data from any point in time that NC State took about Poe Hall. So they took testing results in 2018, 2023, which led to the closure, and again 2 more times, once again in 2023 after the closure, and then in 2024. We took all of those results and compiled them into basically a spreadsheet. So let's say, Chris, you were in room 420 and you want to see if it was measured. You can go into our spreadsheet and find that out yourself. And then we also recreated the floor maps to give people a visual.
And you've shown me some of those spreadsheets. It's very detailed, the things that Keely has put together. And so I wonder, how is what you're doing different than the testing that NC State published earlier this year?
Yeah, so the whole point of all of our coverage, I think the whole point of our jobs is to demystify complicated issues that are affecting the public. So when NC State put these results out, they're out there, and they've been out there since June, but unless you were a PCB scientist and you had a lot of expertise in how to read the document, especially for students, they did not. So what we wanted to do is take all of that and distill it down into a very easy to understand way. And also, when you looked at NC State's results that came out in June, the floor maps were not created. There was just basically the square of the floor, and it showed where the samples were taken, but it didn't show all the rooms where the samples weren't taken. So we wanted to do that, and we did.
Really quick before we go, I have to ask this. What is driving you so much to stay with this story? I have watched you personally pour hours into this. What has driven you to stay with the story?
I'm never emotional, but there's just so many people who feel affected because of the potential. Well, we know that chemicals were in the building. There are a lot of people with cancer who are also in that building, and they want to know if that had anything to do with it. There's so many women my own age who have breast cancer, who had no family history, were in that building and later became sick. So the driving force is the hundreds of people who have spoken to us who want answers, and so we've tried to do a good job in providing them. And you've been doing a stellar job, and I just want to tell you right now, as a friend, I am so very proud of the work that you've been doing. You, of course, can see your story tonight at 6 o'clock on WRAL News.
Well, and for months now, Keely and her team have been so thorough and comprehensive in their coverage. And you can see just in that point, that's where her heart is. And that's why we all do what we do. Looking forward to your report, Keely, at 6 tonight. Right now, it looks like 6 p.m. in some cameras because it's so dark with all the clouds out there, Elizabeth.
It really does. These clouds are going to be with us for the rest of the day today, and not just today, but for tomorrow as well. We do finally start to break out of the clouds on Saturday, Sunday, and early next week, but the trade-off is going to be some really cold air that comes along with it. So gray skies in Fayetteville, as well as North Hills and Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. There's been a little bit more sunshine in some of our eastern counties, but a lot of that will be filling in too over the next little while. What happened in the last 24 hours is we saw this cold front slide offshore, and now our wind is coming from the north, and you can feel it outside, especially with the gray skies. I was out just a little bit ago, and you know, even though I'm wearing a jacket, it was nice to have my coat on because it's just a little bit breezy and cool. This is what we're going to see tomorrow. We're going to wake up to cloudy skies. There may be just a little bit of drizzle out there. That's probably all we'll see in the morning. Around lunchtime, there could be a few holes in the clouds, but it will also be breezy. We're going to see the potential for some evening showers. Those will be fairly light. There's 5 o'clock, and that may end around 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening, just isolated. It's not going to be anything that really measures up much in the rain gauges. We're going to give it a 30% chance during the day, and then up until, like I said, around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday all look dry, but there's the possibility of some showers for Christmas Day. We'll talk more about that in just a little while. It has definitely been a dry period. Last week, when we took a look at our drought status, most of the state was under moderate drought, which is that brown section. And then look at this, big changes. We had a lot of rain on Wednesday of last week. And so now we're abnormally dry for the bulk of the state. And it's not always that we see such a big change like that week to week. So again, last week, 88% of the state was under moderate drought, and this week, only 34% of the state is under moderate drought. So that's good news. We don't have a lot of rain for the next 7 days, but just a little here and there. Winter officially begins on Saturday, and along with it comes some cold air. We're pretty close to normal right now, but look at the cold air way up into Canada and watch how it drops over us Saturday and Sunday, and then really reinforced by early next next week. Monday and Tuesday in particular looking really, really cold. Will there be any snow to go along with it? No, of course not. We're not going to be able to see the cold air and the moisture lining up. But up around Boone, it's a possibility. I got a 43% chance. It's a big 0 for our viewing area. But here's a look at some snow, right? I think I'm just going to start showing snow. Now that we're almost at Christmas, we're just going to have, the snow shot of the day. There's Beach Mountain. It looks great, doesn't it? I mean, I think it does. We're going to be dry here, though. Good look and travel weather for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Christmas Eve. On Christmas Day, there may be some isolated showers late in the day, and then there's a chance of some rain on Thursday. Christmas Eve, a high of 49, and Christmas Day, 53. We'll see sunshine for Christmas Eve, but mostly cloudy on Wednesday for Christmas Day. And temperatures will actually warm up a little bit. Like I said, we're not going to see the precipitation and the temperatures lining up for a white Christmas for us. But it will definitely feel Arctic before Christmas. That's for sure.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. So earlier we asked you for your top airport security tips this holiday season. We have the results right there. 6% saying arrive extra early. 0% saying keep carry-on organized. I do not organize mine. 91% of you saying avoid packing liquids. I actually had to drink an entire container of water because I forgot to dump mine out recently. But only 3% say get that TSA pre-check. Guys, I'm telling you, pre-check, you just walk right through, zoom through the line, I'm telling you.
Well, it is an initial investment, but the shorter lines, a lot of people may think they're worth it.
Pretty attractive feature. We'll continue to collect answers throughout the day, so share this with friends just by scanning that QR code you just saw there on your screen.
The new Superman movie trailer is here. A look at the new Clark Kent next.
And we have a look at the winning Powerball numbers in case you missed them. 6, 15, 18, 33, 49 with the Powerball 7 and the multiplier 2. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today.
A Wake County judge sentenced a Raleigh convenience store owner to 5 to 7 years in prison for stabbing and killing a customer. Tazir Zarqa was found guilty yesterday of voluntary manslaughter. His sentencing includes anger management therapy in prison and for Zarqa to have no contact with the family of the victim, Mark Garrity. Garrity's family gave emotional statements in the courtroom today.
Tonight, parents in Durham can expect an update on the bus driver shortage. That's forcing them to find rides for their children to and from school at least once a week. The Durham Public School Board plans to go over solutions at their meeting tonight. The Durham Association of Educators will host a news conference ahead of that meeting.
Civil rights leader William Barber is suing a national movie theater chain over a confrontation he had in December of last year in Greenville. That was when police escorted Barber out of an AMC theater after he was not allowed to use his own chair to watch a movie with his 90-year-old mother. Barber cannot sit in a regular chair due to pain in his hips. AMC Theaters apologized to Barber about the incident last year. The lawsuit is seeking $100,000. Today at 1:30, Governor Roy Cooper will honor UNC basketball coaching legend Roy Williams. Cooper will give Williams membership into the Order of the Longleaf Pine. It's given to people who make significant contributions to our state. Cooper gave Carolina Hurricanes head coach Rod Brendamore the same honor earlier this week.
It's a bird, it's a plane. Nah, it's that new Superman trailer. The trailer for James Gunn's upcoming take on Superman dropped just hours ago. And right at the top, what do we see? Superman bleeding in the snow? What is this? How could it be? We also see Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, and even Krypto the Superdog for this movie. If you want to see it, Superman flies into theaters July 11th.
Our pet of the day is full of love to give. Meet 4-year-old Josie. She's fully potty and crate trained and is the perfect companion for someone who is looking for a buddy. This certified Carolina Brown dog has lots of energy. Josie gets along with children. She'd be happy as an only pup or to join a family with an existing dog. You can meet Josie by visiting hopeanimals.org for more information on how to apply.
I want to give her pets. She looks so cute.
Oh, she has a sweet face, doesn't she? NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can, of course, get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. We hope you have such a great day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.